Talk about how safe it is, and the best way to do that is to compare it to automobile transportation. 130 people lose their lives every day on the nation's highway, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. But in U.S. scheduled airline transportation, the loss is even less than that for a whole year.
So statistically, it's much safer to travel by air than by car.
Much safer. Safest way to get there.
Something else I hear a lot about these days is people say the fleet is aging. The planes we travel in are 10, 15, 20 years old. The big question a lot of people have is, are the planes being maintained properly?
They are indeed, and the safety, the accident records prove that. There aren't any old planes, really. Parts are replaced before they wear out, always. It's a preventative maintenance with all the airlines. And I know there's a lot written about that, but they are safer even now. The record is, statistics, they're safer now to fly than it ever was.
So there's no reason to be frightened?
No, it's not a...
It's not an equipment or technical problem?
No, it's not a dangerous thing to do.
It's all in your head.
It's all in your perception, yes.
All right, now, we have flown in at great expense a couple of... these are some of your old seats from Pan Am, aren't they? You're going to show us exactly what to do if you're afraid of flying.
Okay.
Would you like to try that?
Sure.
Because I do have a little flight. I travel a lot between Washington and New York City. So let's just take me through the steps.
All right, first I want to acknowledge that many of the so-called millions of people who are watching will be aware of that this fear develops as a anxiety. You're coming to the airport and you're thinking, oh my God, is the weather going to be bad? And will we be delayed? Will it be closed in? Will a lot of people be on an airplane? So you've developed a lot of anxiety, and what the fearful flyer does, they nurse that with what-ifs. Some of the what-ifs that I mentioned. Some of the what-ifs are, will I be embarrassed by my actions? So then you get in the seat and the intensity sometimes gets worse. Now what we'll demonstrate here is a way to interrupt that escalation, which is very threatening. So first, I would ask you, is there any part of your body, maybe here in the guts, that are bothering you, or maybe it's bothering you because your heart is so rapid?
I get sweaty palms.
Sweaty palms. The next thing would come with that, and both of them would be accept the fact that the palms are sweaty, accept the fact that your heart may be going fast, accept the fact that you have a tightness here. It won't disable you nor embarrass you. Secondly, if you were in quite a exaggerated state of anxiety at this time, I'd ask you to take 3 deep breaths. And every time you exhale, let go. Good, and take another one.
Of course, a lot of people let go with a cocktail when they're a mile in the air. Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
Oh, it's a bad idea. It's another way of trying to avoid the experience. We don't want you to avoid it. We want you to get in touch with the experience of flying. It can be beautiful. The deep breath reduces that exhilarating anxiety.
All right. Let's imagine we're taxiing now for takeoff.
Okay. I'd ask you to tune into the environment, too, rather than projecting or remembering how bad it used to be. I'd ask you to look around. We have flight attendants. Maybe there's a cute baby like you have over there that's crying. Give your attention to that. It distracts you from your fascination and your obsession with your fear. So we're taxiing now. We're preparing to take off.
All right.
I'd ask that you sit so-called heavily in the seat, because if you're relaxed, you can't be fearful. So sit all the way down in the seat. Put your full weight down, 170 pounds. And now we're taxiing onto the runway. The captain said we're getting prepared for takeoff. If you're having some anxiety now, you're only going to have 30 seconds of it when we're taking off.
That's all the longer a takeoff is.
That's it, about 30, 35 seconds, depending on how much we weigh. So as we're moving down the runway again, I want you to lean back. I want you to glance out of the window occasionally. Sit heavily in the
engine's
seat.
on fire. Just kidding. Those are shrubs.
They won't burn. Okay. So what I want you to do now is to wiggle a little bit. Loosen the muscles.
Wiggle in your seat.
Yeah.
Right. You folks in the studio audience, feel free to wiggle around too.
This helps.
The whole studio will be taking off. All right, we're taking off.
Lean forward.
All right.
There's one we do too. Shake off. Do this one.
All right, shake. Shake, 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 guys.
Good. Great.
All
This works, by the way. The other thing is, a very, very good thing to do, and it's an old Navy ploy, and that is to wiggle your toes on takeoff.
All right.
It's a little bit difficult to do, but it takes your mind off of your thinking about the fear. So you wiggle the toes, and as we're accelerating, wiggle them faster and faster.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Now what if, okay, we're airborne, what if we hit a little turbulence? All right. Oh, and there we have some right there. Ooh.
Well, this is a very common fear, but it's not based on danger.
Where's that bag?
Yeah. Well, we'll get one for you. But anyway, the airplane is built as sturdy as a battleship. Turbulence doesn't hurt the airplane, but it hurts you because you're not in charge, you're not in control. You wonder when it's going to stop or if it will get worse. All of these mind conjectures. But again, get back to now, and there's other ways to do that too.
It's mind over matter. Now you have a book out, and we've got some of your techniques for the fearful flyer. Also, if you would like more information, we're going to give it to you in our newsletter, and we'll have that address coming up in just a minute. But let's take a look at this graphic right now. These are some of your suggestions. Okay. Tips for the anxious or fearful flyer. 1, arrive at the airport early.
Reduce anxiety.
All right. 2, buy a book or a magazine to distract you.
Particularly make it interesting.
3, expect to be nervous, excited, and uneasy.
Most of the fear is combined somewhat with excitement, anticipation.
Sit up front because it's quieter and smoother.
Yes, that's true.
That's self-explanatory. Also, move around in your seat as we just learned. Number 6, breathe deeply 3 times as the plane is lined up for takeoff. That helps take your mind off of what's about to happen. And as soon as permitted, stand up, move around, rejoice, kiss your neighbor because you've made it. You survived another
Well,
plane
you don't
ride.
have to rejoice, but at least you can find a way to be partly comfortable. And as long as you're making a little bit of improvement, you begin to make more.
All right. Captain, thank you very much for your high-flying advice.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Cummins. Stick around, folks. We got some more house party.